Welcome back. 21 minutes past 9 is the time. The UK's most senior roads policing officer is backing a campaign for tighter restrictions on newly qualified drivers.
Chief Constable Jo Shiner is supporting calls to bring in graduated driving licences. They would see young and novice drivers face stricter rules on issues such as when they could drive and the age of their passengers. Tim Muffet has been speaking to some of those affected.
My precious child, Caitlin, who loved music, films, reading, her cat Molly and her family.
Sharron Huddleston paying tribute to her daughter Caitlin at the National Police Chiefs Council Conference. Caitlin was killed in a car accident in 2017.
Caitlin was the passenger in the car and her friend who was driving had just recently passed her driving test. The driver lost control on a wet bend on a rural road in Cumbria. Caitlin was killed on impact. The driver was killed too.
Sharron and other bereaved families have been campaigning for the introduction of graduated driving licences, which would place restrictions on who newly qualified young drivers could carry as passengers.
Caitlin and her friend would be alive today if that law had been in place. Caitlin wouldn't have been a passenger in the car and that journey wouldn't have taken place then.
At the Police Chiefs Conference, there was renewed support for graduated licences from a key figure.
It's really important that we take any measures and support any measures that will reduce the number of people who are killed and seriously injured on our roads, because that number is currently unacceptable. I support graduated driving licences, but what's really important is that we actually do that work to understand what the most effective elements of that looks like.
Last month, the RAC Foundation set out proposals for a graduated driving licence. Its idea is that teenage drivers would be banned from carrying passengers aged 25 or under for 6 months after their test, unless there was an adult in the car aged 35 or above. And teenagers would also have to learn to drive for at least 6 months.
This particular proposal that we've put forward, we've estimated that it would save up to 44 lives a year and it would save 537 casualties. Young drivers are 7% of all licence holders, but they're involved in a fifth of all killed and seriously injured collisions. So this is a real problem that we need to address.
Ian Greenwood's 12-year-old daughter Alice was killed in 2008. The car in which she was travelling was hit at speed by another, being driven by an 18-year-old who also died, along with his 16-year-old passenger.
Graduated driving licensing manages the risk for the young people so they can get older and they can get more experienced. And we know from international evidence that it stops folk being killed. The evidence is all there, clear as day.
The USA, Australia and Canada are amongst the countries that already have graduated driving licences. For campaigners in the UK, they are long overdue. Tim Muffet, BBC News.